Hello everyone and welcome to Code Escuela. You might have already encountered this issue within Blazor wherein after you run your Blazor application, you'll notice that there is a flicker after your application loads. So this is mostly noticeable if you have lots of asynchronous code, especially if you have asynchronous code running on uninitialized async. And as you can see here, I've already opened up or run this uh, application wherein it shows a dashboard. If you have not gone through with this one yet, this example is taken from the mudblazor dashboard episode that I've already uh, published on our YouTube channel. So if you have the time, just refer to that for any further details. But anyways, as we continue, this dashboard is basically just a simple demonstration of uh, querying data and showing it as dashboard. And so most of this code comes from this home.razor page. Okay, so this is a Blazor component. And as you can see, each of the sections here in our uh, dashboard has a individual or is turned into an individual Blazor component. So each for each of the sections. So as an example, you have total sales, total order ship, so on and so forth. And so if you look at one of these components, you might have noticed that it uses the uninitialized async lifecycle. And so here we have the code that actually queries the data from a server, I mean from a service that is a queried asynchronously. Okay, this method is called asynchronously. We have this await here, and then if this is completed, then it would show the or hide the loading component. All right. So basically, what's inside of this method is just a basic uh, call to our SQLite database. So for the sake of this example, each of these methods for each of the individual sections in our dashboard comes from this report service. And these methods, I've added a delay here wherein it delays or it creates or simulates a delay in the call of the query from around 2 to 4 seconds, so that it allows us to demonstrate that the dashboard has its own loading component, or that progress bar or progress circular graphic that is shown every time the dashboard is loaded. So if we, for example, if we refresh this one, then you might notice that it would take a while to load, and then again after the initial page loads, and then it would just flicker and then load up again the rest of the individual uh, sections. That is because it's under the pre-rendering. All right, so with the pre-rendering, what's inside of your, let's go back here, what's inside of this on initialized async gets executed twice due to the pre-rendering function. So in that case, we'll have to, or this code within this would get executed twice. So that's why the first one, it runs and it pauses for a while, and then once it loads, it reruns again once the Blazor rendering kicks in, and then that's the time we will see that the loading graphic is being shown for each of these sections. Now, one quick way to or workaround to minimize issues with this one, or the flickering issue, is that we can wrap our methods within the on initialized async with what we call the determination of what kind of rendering mode you are in, or if you are in interactive mode. So how does that look like? And so let's just switch to this one, wherein this was how I did the wrapping of the methods inside. So now, as you can see, I've wrapped our code within this if statement. So if render info that is interactive, so this would indicate that the Blazor interactivity is already enabled, which means that whatever code is within this if would only execute if you are in interactive mode. All right. So it would basically just execute once, only and only on interactive. So when pre-render, the pre-rendering is hit, it doesn't execute since it's not yet interactive. Once the Blazor interactivity mode kicks in, then this would be the time that it loads this or runs this section of code. Now, if we quickly run this one, we should be able to see that it loads much faster. As you can see, it's already loading, and you can see that the individual sections of the dashboard is loading up with the loading graphics. The circular one for this graphs here, and then the top would be the linear ones, linear progress. And then yeah, it just shows you that it doesn't flicker anymore, right? So we refresh again, you see that there's no more flicker, and as you can see that the progress on each of the sections are being shown or being loaded. Okay, so that's one way of fixing or work around for this flicker issue.